Yo, 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 what's that word? 32 Minute Podcast, episode 48. Banger episode, a lot of diversity gonna be in this episode. We're gonna begin with the women's college basketball game. A lot going on. What I believe the Final Four. You got USC versus UConn, and of course LSU versus Iowa. We're gonna start off with UConn versus USC. How you feel about that, Chalil?
So UConn USC has two of the biggest names, I believe. Not two of the biggest names, I believe, in college basketball. Not named Caitlyn Clark. Paid with Paige Beckers and Juju Watkins. I feel like it should be a pretty good game. Both really good teams that rely on USC relies on Juju a lot. UConn relies on Paige Beckers a lot. So I like that matchup going into this game with a chance to play into the Final Four. I feel like they're up there in Player of the Year candidates. They may not win it, but being up there or being a nominee for that is a big thing in itself. Paige Beckers coming off injury from last year. She's pretty much picked up right where she left off, and Juju Watkins pretty much excelled my expectations. I didn't think she'd come in and just dominate like how she's been doing. But she's definitely proven that no matter that she's a freshman, she's definitely more than capable of being one of those big names for women's basketball.
No, that's very most definitely true.
I'll go second real quick because I know
Go ahead.
Byron coming with the facts and information as he usually does. Just real quick, Paige Beckers, of course, I love UConn women's basketball person, have been since Maya Moore and even before then. So it's a big game for them. I believe USC hasn't been to the Elite Eight or Final Four in about 30 years. So Juju is literally resurrecting a program. I watched some of her games, some of her films, some of her highlights. And to me, she just has an extremely fluid game. Like, I'm not trying to be sexist or disrespectful to women, but a lot of them, it looks a little bit unrefined. Hers looks like she's been in the gym since Jit days, since she was like 5 or 6 years old. When she shoot the ball, it looks very fundamentally sound. So big shout out to both of them. If I had to make a pick right now, like my prediction, well, we'll do it after we get done talking. We'll say predictions on the game, but you go ahead, Byron.
No, most definitely. Like you said, her shot looks very fluent. Speaking of, is Juju Watkins. She's a very fluid shooter. Gets to her spots. Um, she's 6'2", very young, very tall for her size, and moves very quickly. She's the second leading scorer in women's NCAA division at 27 points, 7 rebounds a game, and she's shooting 40% from the field as a high volume shooter, which is really, really great. Really, really young, and like Brodrick said, they haven't been since '94. That's before all of us was born. They played Louisiana Tech, lost a high flying game, 75-66, and hasn't been back since. So, like he said, they were reviving something back at USC. I'm a big USC football guy. Never really been basketball guy. Only thing I know about USC basketball is Romeo when he went to go play back in the day with DeMar DeRozan. Hey, shout out to DeMar DeRozan for getting your homie on. And Paige Becker, man, 12th in the league. Like you said, she came back from off the injury. 12 point, leading 12th in the league of scoring with 22 points a game, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, off 54% shooting from the field. She's just going to get to her shots, man. She's a highly notable junior, great bucket getter. She's going to find her shot, and she has a great IQ for the game. And the WNBA is going to get one, man. She killed Duke, number 7 in their rankings. The last team they played against, and she just found her shot everywhere she put it up. It fell.
So we can go to predictions for that game real quick. Who you got winning that game, Chalil?
So I don't think at the beginning of the year anybody predicted USC to be this big in the tournament, let alone one of the number one seeds. So I'm just gonna ride that USC wave.
I feel it.
Facts.
I'm
Facts.
gonna I'm gonna go with UConn just because I just feel like they have more overall talent, even though I do feel like even though I respect Paige and she's a first team All-American, I'm gonna go. I think Juju is ultimately the more better and talented player, even at this stage in her freshman season. So I'm gonna go with UConn to win though. I think they have more overall talent, and I don't bet against Gino or Emma in basketball.
Yeah, like I said, like those boys are saying, man, these two great picks. Great coaching on the UConn side, more depth. And we got Juju on her side, which she has pretty good seniors, juniors on the team, really great depth. It's going to be a matchup between those two. They're going to be guarding each other a lot during the game. It's going to be you're just going to see how who plays the better defense and who can make more shots. But I'm going with USC for sure because I'm Trojan all day, man.
Trojan man, but
Yes, sir. Hey,
uh,
I wish I'd use more, but always use.
anyways, the second game was Iowa versus LSU. Of course, you got Flau'jae Johnson and Angel Reese going against the presumed two-time reigning College Player of the Year, Caitlyn Clark, also presumed number one pick. Um, we'll start with you, Byron. How you feel about that game?
Ooh. It's gonna be a monster matchup, man. I'll say LSU's coming off a great tough win against UCLA. The defense was tough. They fought nail and tooth, fought scratch all the way to the end to win that game. Angel Reese, 19 points, shooting 48%. Flau'jae, which is one of the coolest names to have, as a nice sophomore, 15 points, 6 rebounds off 50% shooting. She went crazy. As long as she can bring her shooting for that game, it's going to make it tough on Caitlyn and her squad, who's very well coached. They got a lot of seniors on that team who plays really great basketball and they flow very well together. Caitlyn Clark, what can we say about her? Number one in the nation, 32 points a game, 9 assists off 7 rebounds. She's just doing her thing, man. Got offered $5 million to play in the Big Three.
She should take.
So
Yeah.
hey, I would take it too. I mean, shoot, if they're gonna pay you 10 games for $5 million, and you can still probably go to well, hey, you got to see if you can still go to the WNBA though.
She can.
Yeah, great matchup.
Them WNBA salaries,
Yeah,
that's probably more than she making in 10 seasons in the WNBA. And that's
yeah. Say her
that's
first contract is like it's gonna be only up to like maybe 200 to 500,000 compared to
yeah,
that 5 million.
5 million for 10
One of the
games.
big contracts.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Like in a heartbeat. But yeah, how you feel about that game, Chalil?
Uh, LSU, Iowa. That's a championship matchup from last year.
Big one.
You got both teams, media attention for different reasons. As long as Caitlin Clark's at Iowa, always going to have the media attention on them. And then, LSU just whether it had been Flau'jae's brother jumping off over the scoring table, whatever's going on with Kim Mulkey right now, all that stuff. And then Angel Reese when they were trying to say that she wasn't playing because of her GPA and all that stuff. I feel like with the media attention that they're all getting, even though we feel like this is a big time game for them, it's more of a been there, done that for both teams. And I expect a good competitive game. I know last year I kind of felt like LSU was kind of a step above most of their competition, most of the teams they played against, including Iowa. And I feel like Iowa's kind of closed that gap to where I really can see it going either way this year.
I mean, to be frank, I'm rocking with LSU. And I gotta be honest, I'm not a racist, but it is because I'm black. I like black players. I like Angel Reese. I like Flau'jae Johnson, fire name, and she a fire rapper. And I got the chance to
Facts.
watch a little bit of LSU this year because of Angel Reese's boyfriend is Cameron Fletcher, who plays for the Florida State men's basketball team. So I got to sort of support multiple ways. So um, ultimately, I think LSU is more talented overall. I think they're more athletic. I think they're going to be great getting out on the break. And I think they're motivated by, again, some of the things that some of my co-hosts were hinting at as far as the article came out by the Los Angeles Times about good versus evil and this versus UCLA and things of that nature. You can take that for what it is when you look at the racial composition of each team. But at the end of the day, I think they're motivated. They really try not to cuss. They smacked Iowa last year with Caitlyn Clark. I don't
Yeah.
think they're gonna defeat them as bad this year, but I do. But yeah, I think it's a good matchup as well. So who you got winning that game, Byron?
Yeah, man. Just like you said, last year they gave him fits. Very big gun in the front end. They couldn't handle them. It's going to be LSU. Got them winning it, making it to the Final Four.
Same thing. I got LSU. I don't think it said as I think that skill gap closed between Iowa and LSU. I still don't think they have an answer for Angel Reese. They added Haley Van List, and then Flau'jae just I feel like she's having a pretty great season. I feel like she's improved a lot from last year, and I feel like she honestly is going to be the difference maker. I feel like she's the heart and soul of that team. So I definitely do see LSU winning though.
Yeah, I almost said it the first go around, but I'm going with LSU for all the reasons that I listed beforehand as well. I just think that they're more talented. I think the coaching is equal, but ultimately I'm gonna ride with who I've been riding with. So I'm gonna rock with LSU to win this game. All right, so the next thing we can holler about is the hip drop tackle. So before we get into it, I do want to read out loud for y'all a little bit on it in case y'all weren't up on it. So this is per the NFL Article 18, the hip drop tackle. It is a foul if a player uses the following technique to bring a runner to the ground: grabs the runner with both hands or wraps the runner with both arms and unweights himself by swiveling and dropping his hips and or lower body, landing on and trapping the runner's leg at or below the knee. Penalty for a hip drop tackle, it's a loss of 15 yards and an automatic first down. Yes. What y'all think about that?
Oh, so first things first, I think the NFL, not just because of this new rule that they made, I've been thought the NFL is just going soft. How many years before it's a flag football league? We're being honest. But with the taking away of the hip drop tackle, it's kind of a good thing and a bad thing. Hip drop tackle can lead to some gruesome injuries, things of that nature. But it also, I think, it kind of gives the offense an advantage. For example, you got Derrick Henry running at you. You can't try to hold on to him and drop down or anything. 9 times out of 10, he's running through you. And that's pretty much what I got for right now.
Okay, so the hip drop tackle is this new rule now that they just came out with, which they had to reform to already the rules that they had previous, maybe a year, 2 years ago, where you can't hit a player within a certain frame. So they started the hip drop tackle. And also, I get the other side where the hip drop tackle is kind of creating a lot of injuries because it's a lot of players are getting hurt, ACL tears, ACL getting their ankles broken, all kind of things like that. But we also come from a different era where football. I was always told a blind man should know good football games going on. Those pads should be hitting, and you should be knowing that hey, these guys are they're bringing the wood. Like C said, it's transforming into a flat football game, offense only. Don't get touched. Give the offense player all the advantage. Let's make the money. Uh, this is not a game that is in the future. If it gets more like that, will be anything good.
I honestly feel like it's stupid because as a defender, it's like Byron said, how do you really tackle somebody at this point? And at the end of the day, 15 yards plus an automatic first down is like a huge
Tough.
anything. I get people are getting hurt, but at the same time, people have to understand. People who haven't played football and who have played football understand that football is a violent sport. They're trying to put this stuff out there so people can watch it and they can feel like what they're watching is safe. There is no way that football can ever be a non-violent sport. The basis of it is of barbaric nature. The players that go out there, the players that go out there, we all watch the movie where they're talking about CTE and all this other stuff we've seen in the news. These former players get into violent incidents. We know that we're watching something that inherently is going to affect these guys for the rest of their life, whether that's mental or physical. So the game has violence in it. Now, I'm not saying it got to go back to the 70s and 80s and things of that nature, because there was definitely some wild boys. But I don't think that you can. You're putting all the advantages on mostly one side of the ball when everything is already geared to those guys. That's why a lot of players now, I don't really understand why a player want to come up playing defense when you're making more money on offense and it's easier to play the game on the offensive side of the ball. So saying that, getting back on specifically the hip drop tackle, I don't really know how you can tackle a player from behind without doing that. Like I'm really bewildered. Like I really can't fathom a way you could tackle a player from behind. But I guess we're gonna see, and it's gonna be a shitstorm for the refs to penalize these players in the game, because I'm sure they're gonna be confused too, because they're gonna be wondering, was that a hip drop tackle, or was like how else do we get these guys on the ground? So, and
Very
there's
hard to
already
judge.
massive complaints with the NFL referees. So we're gonna see how it plays out as far as it pertains to that. If I
It's gonna
sound
be very hard to judge, bro.
huh?
I say, like you said, man, it's gonna be very hard to judge those kind of swings, man. It's gonna deter a lot of games this year coming up.
Yeah, that definitely make or break a game too.
Exactly.
Yep.
Think about at the end of a game, you got CMC running and they're down 7, and he's running towards the end zone, and the player catches him from behind. The only way you can tackle him is wrapping him up and dropping himself. But they get the first down, they get the
First and goal.
the extra yards, and now they're at the goal line. Like it's gonna be a storm. I know it's gonna be weird, but hey, that's the NFL for you. We're still gonna watch it, but I mean, at the
on
end of
both
the day,
sides, man.
the product.
Facts.
So 2 more topics, and this is real quick. I'm gonna talk about this more with Elmi when I talk about boxing a little bit, but just real quick, what were y'all thoughts on the Riley Romero versus Isaac Cruz fight?
I go first. I already knew Isaac Cruz was a dog. From his fight with Gervonta Davis. He just proved it again. I feel like he passed the test of Rolly Romero with ease. It wasn't really a test. I honestly don't have anything good to say about Rolly Romero right now. I don't have anything against him, but I just think for the amount of crap he talks and how cocky he is, he should have shown more. We should have seen more out of him. He wound up, I think it was a TKO in the 8th round.
Yeah.
And I feel like he needed to come out and dominate this fight, especially after the controversial win that he got. I feel like he needed to come out and prove something, and he did the complete opposite. So hats off to Cruz. Rolly Romero, get back in the gym.
Nah, facts, man. Everything he said, man, he's standing on it. I'm not a big boxer guy. Watching it now, I got here written down, man. Romero, nice size. Like C said, he was selling out, man. I was watching as I was doing my research. He was selling out. Didn't even want to touch gloves at the beginning as they were introducing each other. And from round one, Cruz stunned him, hit him with a nice stun. Had that man hitting the nene. Uh, Tried to defend himself, couldn't put his hands up, and Cruz just attacked very, very relentlessly throughout the rounds. And eighth round knocked him out, and now he's the champion. Man, it was a dog fight from the beginning. Shout out to Isaiah.
For sure.
Isaac, I mean.
I'll make this quick. Pitbull. Again, we all saw that fight against Tank, but even before then, Pitbull has been doing this thing. Very technical fighter. Also has a thudding power. Maybe not concussive knockout, but thudding power. Slightly flat-footed. I knew it would be a bad matchup for Rolly overall. Honestly, I think he should have just been calm and tried to get that fight with Ryan Garcia, even though he probably would have got stopped there too. But at the same time, this fight in particular, like Byron was saying, had my man's dancing all over the ring from the first round, from getting stunned, and really just got beat down throughout the entirety of the fight. Pitbull, I think people take him for granted because he doesn't speak English for real. And I think that like they take him lightly. But if you go back and really study him and watch his fights, like he's a very technically sound fighter, a great counterpuncher, and you could tell him and his team, he has a great team, watches a lot of film. And to be honest, Rolly's kind of whack. Like, even though I understand people had their feelings about Rolly and they was booing him and it was straight up criminal interviewing that man after he clearly got a concussion after the fight.
Yeah, he was beat.
Even though he kind of talked like that pre-fight as well.
Yeah.
Like, Rolly, I like Rolly because there's not many people that's trash talking like Rolly. Like Rolly, that's one thing he can do. He could sell a fight. Even though I don't believe he gonna win any fight that he in, he makes me compelled to watch him just because he talks unique.
Trash.
Like, so I'm rocking with you, Rolly. I think you can get back in the gym. I don't know if you're gonna be a champion again because you got a lot of work to do. But
that's tough.
I want to see you fight again. You know, I don't want you to retire after a loss, especially after getting washed like that, because that was bad. A 135-pounder coming up and beat you, senseless like that old man beat you. And again, we're gonna talk about that more with Elmi. So y'all stay tuned. Y'all subscribe to the channel, like this video, watch all our content, get caught up, get in tune. And
that bell.
Our next topic and our final topic, we ain't in no rush right now, but it was about building the perfect perfect NBA player. So the first thing we're gonna talk about is body. What body would y'all choose for y'all ideal player to have?
You go first. I think I went first last time.
Got you, man. I'm pretty sure there's gonna be a consensus for at least I would think the body. LeBron James, man, 6'9", about 240, 250, just locomotive.
So I kind of base my player just to kind of be a little bit different from your guys, just so we have, different players when it comes to the end of it. I went with Kawhi Leonard body type. Just nice, strong, broad shoulders, strong frame, massive hands, a phenomenal wingspan, all just to lead to great defense. So yeah, my body type, I went with Kawhi Leonard's.
Like that.
For body type, because again, I understand how it could be a consensus because I'm thinking of the same person. For body type, I'm gonna go with Tracy McGrady. Long arms, again, broad shoulders as well. Ultimately, durability issues, but we're assuming perfect health here. So I'm gonna go with Tracy McGrady, 6'9", 6'10", and just very long limb. So I'm gonna go with Tracy McGrady. So the next category was mentality.
I
Yeah,
got you, man. I heard from one of the GOATs that if this person was a certain size, that he would have been the GOAT. So Allen Iverson, man, that mentality for me was big to make it to the NBA Finals in the 2002 with that team that you had beyond your back was broke carrying. Yeah, that mentality.
Mine, I went with Gary Payton. Man's just a dog.
Defense.
One of the best trash talkers in the game. He got that "you're not better than me" mentality. You're not gonna beat me. I'm gonna talk crap to you. I'm gonna rub everything in your face. I'm gonna take you off your game. And I'm just trying to make a dog player. So who better to go with?
That boy got the claw and the glove, man.
Yeah, real. For mentality, I'm gonna go with Michael Jordan. I'm gonna go with Michael Jordan for mentality. Of course, he trying to win. Might have not been the best dude to his teammates or generally the people around him. Uh, but you know, I'm gonna go with Michael Jordan. Any dude that could sip on that Henny all night while playing cards, and then come the next game and literally give you 60, like
Gambler.
dude is locked in to the game and just the trash talk. Like there's so many great Jordan moments, like when my man was at the free throw line, the Kimbe, this is for you, closed his eyes and went the free throw. Like you could just tell that's from repetition. Like he wasn't worried about missing it at all. And if he would have missed it, so what? That's Jordan. So and he
Yeah.
knew that. So man, I'm going with any dude that can produce a documentary just talking crap about his teammates the whole time and giving himself all the ego. That's the type
Yeah.
of mentality I need in my player, to not care and just hype yourself up. Jordan, I'm going with Jordan for mentality.
I feel that.
Nobody say Kobe.
Now
I feel like that
Kobe
would have
was
been
one
a
of mine.
generic answer, but RIP.
Well, Kobe was my kind of like a segue to AI because Kobe's the one said, "Hey man, if AI was 6'5", 6'6", it'd have been a problem."
All right, for shooting, who you went with for shooting, Byron?
Oh man, it's a couple of guys we could have went with here, but I'm gonna go with Klay Thompson, one of the purest shooters in the game. Obviously, Steph Curry is the best shooter of all time, but one of the most pure shooters in the game in his heyday was Klay Thompson. So I'm gonna go with him, man.
Okay. For me, I chose Ray Allen. One of the best clutch shooters of all time. Before the emergence of Klay Thompson and Steph Curry, he was considered the greatest shooter of all time. And just how he panned out his game to prolong his career with the 3-point shot. I just went with Ray Allen.
Jesus, shadows work.
I don't want to be low hanging fruit because obviously the best shooter of all time is just hanging there. So I'm gonna go with Kobe for shooting.
Ooh,
I'm gonna go with
tough.
Kobe for shooting. Elite mid range. I think if he wanted to, he could expand his game more out to the 3-point line. But even then, we have countless game winners of Kobe's from the 3-point line and from the mid range, from the free throw line. In my opinion, Kobe has the prettiest shooting form of all time. So I'm gonna rock with Kobe, and I don't feel bad about that. I like Kobe. I think everybody love Kobe. R.I.P. Black Mamba.
Facts.
Give me 1 second.
Take time, man. I think passing that.
We rock with you too, Steph. Now it ain't no shame. We just,
most definitely.
We
Don't
just
give
trying
you
to
a
be
rose.
we
You the
trying to
best.
go away from the obvious, man.
Yeah.
So next one, I think that these are all gonna be different but interesting. So our next category is handles.
Tim Hardaway, man. Let's go. We're gonna go Tim Hardaway Sr., not Junior. Tim Hardaway, that crossover inventor, man. That man had that snag, ball on the screen, get to any spot he wants to, and nobody's gonna stop him at all. Downhill for sure.
I went with Kyrie. Literally,
Yeah.
yeah. Anytime he touches the ball, you can expect some type of flashy dribble move, whether it be a crossover, behind the back into a spin move. There's been plenty of times I've been watching him where I felt like he was just throwing the ball out there and it was going to get stolen, and somehow he yo-yoed it back in and completed a layup or whatever the case may be.
Honestly, I do think Kyrie got the best handles of all time. Like Kyrie is just like when you watch him, it feels like you're watching something that's like the skill level feels unreal. Like when I watch Kyrie just dribble the basketball.
Art.
Art. For me, and honestly, I honestly might, or we all might make a video, or I just might make one where I might discuss Kyrie being the most skilled player of all time, for real, for real.
Not that.
Anyways, for mine, I went with Isaiah Thomas, Detroit Pistons great.
Tough.
Isaiah Thomas was in a league that was dominated by larger men during his era. He was arguably, not arguably, he was the second best point guard, obviously the Magic, but winning 2 championships, get to the rim at will, crossover, tween, behind the back. Like, I don't remember a single clip of, I was about to tell a lie, of the ball getting stole from Isaiah, besides Larry Bird stealing that, but that was a pass. That wasn't somebody yoking it off of his handle. I think personally he had the strongest dribble because dribbling and handling is a little bit different to me. Like Jamal Crawford is also a great handles guy. But I think Isaiah Thomas had the strongest dribble. Like the command of the basketball is what I was going with. So I'm gonna go with IT, the great IT. Next we had passing. How y'all feel? Who y'all going with passing wise?
Oh man, I'm gonna go with one of the greatest passers of all time, man, Magic Johnson. Sees the floor without seeing the floor, eyes closed, pass it off the nose, off his toes, don't care. Yes, sir. Young go.
Who you got, Khalil?
Chris Paul. Nothing fancy about how he passes the ball, but he gets the ball to where it needs to be. Some places you don't think he can get it, he gets it there. Sets his teammates up perfectly to get them open looks or looks at the rim.
Floor general for sure.
For passer, I'm gonna go with Rondo, Rajon Rondo. He the one that invented a lot of, like, in my opinion, a lot of passing moves. Like his highlight tape is probably strictly passing. Like, he just fits the ball into like the exact correct spot. He sees plays develop before anybody else does on the court. Like again, like LeBron said, I'm really stunned that he's not a coach at any level at this point right now. Just because something else we're going to talk about later is IQ, but his passing was elite from the time he came into the league until he was helping the Lakers win championships later on in his career. So I'm gonna have to go with Rondo for passing.
Yeah. I like y'all 2 picks, man. Y'all picked coaches, man. Y'all picked 2 coaches for sure, for sure.
Athleticism.
Oh, let's do this, man. My new up and coming favorite, for sure. Anthony Edwards, athleticism, bro. Box office, jumping out the gym, you step out the way, or you getting dunked on.
My athleticism give me prime OKC triple-double machine Russell Westbrook. I feel like at that time he was in his prime, there was nobody more athletic than him. And just the way he would dunk the ball with such force and how ferocious it was. I'm going with Russ.
Man, athleticism, give me the greatest dunker of all time, VC Vince Carter.
Vince Carter,
yeah. Fast, vertical, quick twitch, everything. Vince Carter is one of those athletes I feel like he could be successful in any sport that he want to be in. So for the sake of time, I'm gonna go with Vince Carter for obvious reasons. We saw what he did to the foreign gentleman. We saw what he did countless other times. Alonzo Mourning dunk contest. I mean, who hasn't Vince Carter dunked on? So I'm gonna go with Vince Carter for sure. For our next one, our last 2, we got defense. Who y'all got for defense?
We're gonna do them together, or we still got enough time for?
We got enough time for these last two.
All right. Defense. Give me Tony Allen. Give me the clamp stir. Give body strong, not moving him no way, and he's gonna force you to where he wants you to go.
Defense, give me Michael Jordan, ranked 4th all time in steals. First team all defense 9 times, which is a record. And he led the league in steals a couple times.
Sure. For defense, give me Detroit Pistons, Dennis Rodman. Young Dennis Rodman, the one that apparently was thinking about ending it all. That Dennis Rodman, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, man, could guard anybody in the entire league. Hustle, endurance. People say a lot about Dennis Rodman off the court, but when it came to on the court, nobody's disputed like the talent and hustle that this man had with minimal skill. Like they just talk about defense and rebounding and hustle. So give me Dennis Rodman.
Minimal skill and minimal time playing the game before he got to the league.
Real talk. And my boy was wrestling
like
at the same
3
time.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Real
before
talk.
going to the NBA.
Yeah. So our last one, who y'all got for IQ?
IQ, easy. Greatest player with the greatest IQ, greatest mind, knows your playbooks, makes you go where they know the other players gonna be. LeBron James.
Yep. I had LeBron as well. Just like I think he's the smartest player to ever play the game. Us as fans looking at him, there's some plays that he always makes the right plays for one. And then us as players looking at him, we might not think it's the right plays there, but when it's said and done, if you kind of look back at it, he's just always making the right play.
For mine, LeBron's my favorite player. I think he's the GOAT, best player of all time. I didn't pick him, even though I could have picked him for a few of these other categories, and I'm not shying away. I'm not trying to be contrary. For IQ, I'm going to go with LeBron, too. Like y'all said, pretty much knows every coach's playbook in the league, what they're going to do, how they're going to defend him, how they're going to defend everybody else. You see these guys going on podcasts, his former teammates, and they're not talking about the tomahawk dunks, the chase down blocks. They're talking about how LeBron was directing the entire game. All these guys, this is what they're talking about every time. And they have these incredible stories where, again, he's an incredible athlete, has everything as a basketball player, the body, athleticism, handle. He got everything, passing, but they talk of defense, but they talk about his IQ. So I'm going to go with LeBron. I think we all built players that could probably average 40 and lock down anybody. So, with the less than a minute left, it's been a great episode.
Hey, man, out of all the 3 players that we picked, man, in the comments, pick who winning MVP. Pick who winning MVP.
Yes, sir.
It's going to be mine. But anyways.
Hey, we're going to see.
It's going to be a good tournament. It's going to be a good tournament. I like that. But y'all subscribe to the channel, like the video, watch our other videos, and play this back to make sure y'all know what type of players that we pick for each one in each category. It's been good. Anything y'all want to say?
No, y'all have a good night, man. It's been a great show.
Give us a follow, TikTok, Twitter, what is it? Facebook. We have our Instagram. We don't got Facebook. I'll make a Facebook. Just get us a follow. We're trying to keep giving you guys fire stuff. Yeah.
Hey, man, it don't cost nothing to hit that like button. Watch the video all the way through.